I can truly not believe that there was nothing in the beginning. Everything cannot emerge from nothing.
There must have been at least a tiny inkling of an idea, a thin thread of thought, a yearning that led us further to more.
I like this feeling beneath my fingers, warm and inviting. I am in harmony as I invite the forest into my house.
Gaze upon the world with different eyes, trying to solve the riddle in new ways. Connect the unconnected is my challenge.
I bring surprise, but that is not enough. Anyone can shock, but I want to have an influence, leave my mark.
A single vantage point does not suffice. I want to evaluate and master my creation with all my knowledge.
The commotion, the bubbling, the storm, as it's decanted and divided, it is also enriched and multiplied.
No one can teach me everything, but I want to learn the most from everyone.
I dream in color, which is why a black and white life is not enough.
I want the wind and the sun, the moon and the stars, the clouds and the sea. I want to trust and hope, to be and to go, and return to the new beginnings. This is my inspiration. This is my yearning.
Dear students, dear professors, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and warm welcome on our sixth A.L.I.C.E conference during Going Green Global Design Week. And I'm really so happy that we can do it online I'm so sorry, not in live, but I hope it will be much better in a couple of months. Of course, our Alice and that wonderful present from Professor Vladimir Sanjaro from St. Petersburg, who is going to help today an honorable speech. They are dream team. So, if we look back, we have to admit that the year 2020 was the most challenging and unpredictable year in many decades. The coronavirus pandemic that's still going on has brought enormous social and economic changes around the globe, the changes that in most cases will take years to overcome. Because of implemented restrictions, the economic activities were held back. In many countries, unemployment occurred and the economic social costs have risen. According to data provided by the United Nations, in less than 12 months, nearly 70 million people have been infected because of the coronavirus pandemic. But all in all, we have to add that the pandemic has also affirmed the value of science as a reliable instrument to understand and to overcome natural threats. Under the guidance of academic and professional bodies, the local and national strategies for fighting the virus have been developed. Reliable scientific and technical advice in parallel with cooperation have been proved as the only way to address challenges that go beyond the borders. As part of the European Union's coronavirus recovery plan, the European Commission has announced plans to create a new European Bauhaus modeled on the influential design school to kickstart a cultural and sustainable movement in European Union. It is imagined as a new cultural project for Europe, a co-creation space where architects, artists, students, engineers, and designers are meant to work together. The new European Bauhaus is planned to become a driving force to bring the European Green Deal to life in an attractive, innovative, and human-centered way. It will be a movement based on sustainability, inclusiveness, and aesthetics. In the light of these events, the Faculty of Design is organizing the 6th International Scientific Conference, A.L.I.C.E, Architecture, Landscape, Innovation, Culture, and Emotion, 2021, in order to invite national and international experts in the field of culture of design. We strongly believe that design is fundamental to all human activity, and designers have the potential to act as transdisciplinary integrators and facilitators. The essence of the design process is to envision novel solutions in order to meet certain needs and express a certain intention through novel interaction and relationships. Design tends to focus on how the world could be in the future and proposes visible pathways to create such a future. What can we do in the field of creative industries? We know that innovative, sustainable strategy of design is the answer to many challenges. Architecture and design, part of all creative industries, with their profound ability to create new relationships between people, is uniquely positioned to engender all the changes. I wish a very successful day, and now I am inviting Mr. Steiner Velatamland from his own company, 3.0. For many years, he shared his great knowledge in the field of design and design management. after he stepped down after 12 years as the general manager of Association of Danish Designers. Mr. Steiner, warm welcome.
Thank you so much.
The stage is yours, if I can say like that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nada. I was thinking as we looked at the Going Green Global Awards yesterday that actually if someone truly deserves an award, it's Nada and its Faculty of Design for repeatedly bringing people together with ideas, with knowledge, and insisting on discussing how design can actually be a catalyst of change in a time which is as chaotic as ever. And as Nada said, the pandemic has also released something good. The new Bauhaus and the Green Deal has been accelerated by this, but we have also seen a creativity sort of really blooming all over the world, civic engagement, and a willingness to really ask questions about are we doing the right thing? We will ask some questions today as well, and we will hopefully also have some food for thought. We're in for a tour de force of experiments, studies, and student workshops, and all of them underpinning the overall theme of how design and innovation can partly create a more sustainable future, and in the meantime, until we get to that point, how we can become more resilient and cope with the changes that the past has brought on us. Before we start, though, I wish to welcome Vladimir Zanzaro. Professor Zanzaro, as Nara said, is a very good friend of the House with his short, honorable speech.
Hello, nice to see you all. Dear colleagues and friends, thank you very much for the opportunity to participate in the A.L.I.C.E conference together with you. We are so far from each other now, but we are united by our hearts, our profession, and our interest in solving many problems using design methods. Design is increasingly expanding the boundaries of its influence, being a tool of sustainable development and an element of cyclical economy. In recent years, Ljubljana has become a prominent center for the development of design in Europe, and especially its environmental direction. We remember that Ljubljana was an ecological capital of Europe in 2016. Among other reasons, this is a great achievement of the Faculty of Design and its wonderful dean, Ms. Nada Rozmanek-Matitic. A few years ago, at the very beginning of A.L.I.C.E, I first met the staff of the Faculty of Design, and cooperation with our University of Industrial Technologies and Design in St. Petersburg successfully continues during all this time. Perhaps in future, the big international workshop that was postponed will be held, and I will be able to attend it with my students. It is my dream. And we always be happy to meet our colleagues in St. Petersburg, of course. The past years has shown once again what unexpected and dangerous problems humanity faces. We must combine all our efforts, creative, research, educational, so that our students will be ready for a variety of challenges. We want to believe that the future is beautiful, but it is not predictable. I would like to wish a successful work for the song conference and interesting conference for the participants. I hope that the next conference will meet face to face and without masks. Thank you for your attention. Be healthy and happy. Bye.
Thank you so much, Professor Sankar, and for your encouragement, and also your thoughts about how design is more important than ever. As I said, the program consists of a lot of presentations, short presentations, very short. We'll try to keep to time schedule, and I've been asked to go as the first one with a short presentation of a workshop that I had the privilege of running for the visual communication students at Faculty of Design last October. I tried to challenge the visual design students in sort of reflecting on how they can contribute to this change that we want to accelerate. Very often we think about design for the future and sustainable design. We think about products, we think about systems and services, and we very often forget visual communication. So it was a 3-day workshop where we went through all the sort of the thinking that has gone into visual design as a catalyst of change. And then we split into groups of 3-4 students, where each group decided on choosing a challenge that they wanted to address. Obviously, we took our point of departure in the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, because that is a very good framework. And we also looked at a survey which was made by World Economic Forum in 2017, and which surveyed which challenges young people of today are concerned about, where climate change is clearly on the top, but there is also a lot of other challenging situations that we can contribute to. So I asked them, what are yours? What are your priorities? What is it that you want to make a change within? What can design do? There's a lot of literature on it, and I introduced the students to some of that, and then had a discussion overall on how visual design can be part of solving world problems, and how visual communication is one of the most effective means of actually changing people's behavior, because that is what visual communication does when it's being used to promote brands, to promote any other idea. The same goes for the wish and the desire to change. So, which challenge have you decided? Why? Who do you want to influence? Which action or changes do you want target groups or audience to undertake? And what do you need to know to make sure that you can make a difference? So those were the questions that we sort of started out with. And I'll very quickly run you through the 7 groups. They all went through a research phase, analysis, ideation, creation, and obviously we didn't get to the point of implementation, but we certainly got to a point where a lot of the ideas were ready to implement. And just to show the breadth and the energy of this group, the first group, they chose the challenge to encourage more responsible consumption and fight overconsumption. And they basically developed a movement and a brand which focused on how buying less could be the way of living better, of both getting a better life and of contributing. It was based on an app, so that when you went to Ljubljana to buy clothes, you had knowledge about what was the most responsible choice, and you also had good advice on how you could actually combine what you have in advance and buy a little bit instead of buying a lot. So it was all about reducing consumption, and when you decide to consume, you do it in a more responsible way. A sublime graphical solution to the brand issue and the communication challenge that they chose. Another group, group 2, they went a totally different direction by addressing the challenge of lack of access to drinkable water in many countries. And they basically conceived a non-governmental organization setup, an NGO setup, a campaign for how we in our part of the world can help young people, with children in particular, to have access to drinkable water. The third group, they addressed the whole issue of diversity and of our prejudice and our biases towards people who are different, people who look different, have different names, and so on, and just try to work with our ideas and with our assumptions and to change our understanding of diversity through that. Group 4, they looked at the poverty and the social desperation that we find in our own part of the world, in many living quarters where there are a lot of young people who grow up without feeling safe, without feeling that they belong. So this was a social community program to build safer local communities, and a wonderful graphical and communicative solution to that. Group 5, they went all the way to biodiversity and how we can make people more aware of the strains that we're putting on the world. So they focused on biodiversity and the collapse of ecosystems. Group 6, they went also back to the very local level and saying how can we, together with the supermarkets and the retail chains that we are working with on day-to-day basis, help people fight poverty in a collaboration. And finally, Group 7, they addressed the issue of recycling, the fact that it is complicated. A lot of people, they give up. They do not really feel inspired to do it. So how can you make it easier? How can you make it accessible? How can graphic design, visual communication help people understand that this is a meaningful way of contributing to a better world? So 7 very, very different projects. And these 3 days showed me that, first of all, the students found working with this kind of challenge extremely interesting and rewarding. They also found the strong focus on front-end thinking, the whole research and the really understanding issues before designing starts, to be a very challenging and intriguing part of being a designer, something that they might not have had the chance to spend so much time on yet. And then I think the bottom line of it all was that one student said, this is just so much more interesting than making a logo for some imagined company. To me, it was extremely encouraging to see that this engagement exists in all design students, and that future designers, they will not only make brands, they will also change the world. So thank you for that. That was my little presentation of a workshop that I had the privilege of running, and there we are. I hope that some of the other stories that we will be told today also sort of reinforces this picture of a new generation of designers who are ready to take on the responsibility of being a designer and really addressing issues of great importance. The next speaker today is Professor Dragan Karlsovich, who has worked with design theory. Intellectualizing the legacy left behind by designer is important to understand the meaning and importance of design practice. And as he says, in the exchange of representations, which represents one of the central features of a time, the critical theory of design finds a space for perceiving prototypical forms of ideological transformation of the aesthetic. It's a heavy one, but it's interesting. Dragan, please.
Hello to everyone. I must thank you once more for organizing this wonderful event. I very enjoying it. And I have to say that this event is a huge success of the Faculty of Design and, of course, of the Dean, Professor Nada Matic. And the title of my speech today is Rethinking Design, a contribution to a new critical design theory. The importance of initiating a new critical theory of design lies not only in the social significance of design during the 20th and 21st century, nor in insufficient theoretical thinking of design within the theory of art and aesthetics, but above all, in the need to redefine the understanding of design. The central focus of the new critical design theory does not remain at the level of deconstructing ideological models of representation or in the domain of discovering ideologically based meanings that are transmitted through design, but at the problem of ideological influence on the realization of aesthetic dimensions. This is an effort to determine the ways in which the aesthetic is reshaped in creative practice. Within the wide field of artistic creation, special attention, which such a stated intellectual orientation is attracted by design, which according to its utilitarian dimension, is the most strongly open to the influences of the economy. The inclusion of new forms of creative practice in the field of design thinking presupposes a double orientation. On the one hand, the new critical design theory focuses on rethinking creative practice that encompasses the dimensions of the aesthetic, which is objectified in the process of producing and receiving messages through design achievements that become part of popular culture, while on the other hand, it focuses on various forms of popular use of aesthetic material, selected parts that in such form enter popular culture as a kind of popular creative practices that encompasses the dimensions of the aesthetic. What the design theorists, which within such an orientation seek to discover, are the forms of ideological distortion of the aesthetic and the ways of their realization within popular culture. In this sense, the critically oriented design theorists pays special attention to the analysis of the text production. Following Fiske's understanding, the producerally text contains the forces of domination, but also the possibilities to speak against them, that is, the possibilities to oppose them. And in that sense, one realized design achievement created in close connection to economic activity is to some extent the barrier of centralizing forces that reflect the dominant ideology. However, by becoming involved in popular culture, its basic meanings are transformed, that is, involved in a specific process of struggle over the meaning. And just as the scholar of popular culture in this negotiation of meaning finds material that captures his or her attention, so the critic of design in this process seeks to discover forms of ideologically negotiated transformation of the aesthetic. The realization as well as the transformation of the aesthetic dimension in the popular use of design within the critical theory of design is not seen as a result of constant antagonism, which is realized in the process of shaping the popular in relation in the influence of the dominant ideology, namely the ideological influence on the realization of the dimensions of the aesthetic in the broader context of the popular use of design is always negotiated. And another question that is the new critical design theory raises is its participation in the realization of a specific total design, which is established on a planetary level. The process of producing, receiving, and using various design achievements that participate in planetary total design should be understood as a specific creative practice which participates in the process of aestheticization of social reality. In this sense, equal attention should be paid to the achievement of artistic design and various forms of creative activity which do not belong to the field of artistic work, but which influence the development of or participate in planetary total design. These works, although often of marginal artistic significance or often rightly marked as separate from any form of artistic activity, are mostly created in accordance with the established principles of shaping industrialized cultural material, which are self-founded in the process of reproducing ideologically based matrices of aestheticization. The approach proposed by the new critical design theory, therefore, assumes the disclosure of the processes, functions, and cultural activities of contemporary design, ways of its use in popular culture, and the non-artistic or semi-artistic production of aesthetic material that participate in shaping contemporary cultural context. The question to be asked here is not only to reveal the design mediated meanings that strengthen the dominant ideology, but also to think about ideologically based forms of aesthetic transformation, which are realized in a prototypical way in the spread of planetary total design. Such an intellectual effort, understood from a humanistic position, cannot be separated from the perception of its social perspective, but must seek a new rethinking of design as a scene of confrontation of economic interests and industries on the one hand, and a creative response to a social context on the other. And that was my short addressing, and I hope that I somehow make closure this proposal to you, and that is actually just a proposal of new way of thinking or approaching design. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dragan, for also reminding us that beneath the design that we see, there's a lot of thought, there's a lot of energy also in the theory going into it, and there's a lot of issues to be discussed. And I wish that we had time to discuss some of the issues that you raised here. That will have to wait for another good time, but I think you have some very interesting reflections on especially the role of aesthetics and how we sort of articulate that in design. So thank you so much, Dragan. Thank you very much. We go now from this very theoretical approach to a very practical approach, and somehow the project that we will hear about now is a tribute to one of design's most important roles today, and that is to address the challenge of urban design, sustainability and resilience, and in how this can be done and achieved in close collaborations with the people who actually live out in these environments, with the many stakeholders of the built environment. Petra Kucan, I'm not very good at those names, Petra Kucancic, who is a senior lecturer at Faculty of Design. Please give your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Steiner. So, as you said, my name is Petra Kocijancic, and I'm coming from Faculty of Design. And today I will talk about of older residential buildings built after the World War II, which need renovation, reviving, and modernization. And our intention was to revive an interesting residential neighborhoods and thereby attract younger residents, which would curb further desurbanization at the city of Ljubljana. So we were interested in the specific issue concerning open spaces and in the way of life within the neighborhoods. So based on our research, we designed a sustainable renovation of an existing apartment building, including the green space around. So for a start, just take a look at a few of these so-called socialist neighborhoods. In 20 years, 100,000 new inhabitants moved to Ljubljana, and this period is now characterized by the so-called socialist neighborhoods, with very small dwellings that solved many housing problems at the time. But now we question ourselves about their future. So let's take a look what is happening with these neighborhoods today. Once impressive neighborhoods with rich content are failing and they are becoming non-profit housing. We can see greens and playgrounds are not maintained as always. There are some inhabitants who take care of the surroundings and others who neglect it. So green areas and pavements have become parking for cars, which have become a mandatory ingredient of human comfort. However, there is still lack of parking areas. So nevertheless, the phenomenon of vandalism is on the increase, and children's playgrounds in this neighborhood are mostly well equipped, but are becoming the target of violence. The rate of crime like drug trafficking, violence, theft, and so on is increasing, and residents within neighborhoods not longer feel safe. So in these residential neighborhoods are being transformed into multicolor complexes with a pile of plastic with no added value nor in line with sustainable development. So what can we do about that? For my opinion, all the professions related to urban planning, like landscape and urban planners and architects, should thoroughly undertake the renovation. I think that energy-saving building renovation of buildings alone will not be enough for concrete changes. The question of how to provide residents with better spatial organization in the apartment should be answered, as lifestyle is no longer the same as years ago. So solutions must be found for all traffic jams, and the development of a new form of traffic must be encouraged. People should become aware that space is a common good and that we should all take care of it, not just a handful of individuals. And funding strategies should be developed by helping people with lower incomes. So that I'm not talking about some science fiction, let's take a look of revitalization and good practice abroad. For my opinion, there are many examples to learn from or to apply to our situation. For an example, I will present the renovation of a residential skyscraper on Bois Le Prêtre street in Paris, designed by architects Frédéric Drouot and Le Coton and Philippe Vassal. The architects follow the principles of connecting energy, social, economic, architectural, and urban factors. So the program itself covers the renovation of residential buildings, public spaces, green areas, and transport infrastructure. So in the foreground, there was the idea to demolish the skyscraper and build new multi-apartment buildings in its place. But the financial calculation was too high and the ecological damage due to construction waste would be too big, according to the architects. So they also wanted to avoid the process of gentrification, as the economically weak would not be able to pay higher rents in new buildings and would start moving out, and people of higher incomes class would start moving into new buildings, and that was not a point. So the architects renovated the skyscraper by adding conservatories on the south, east, and west sides, and so the dwellings were enlarged by 60%. The conservatories, which are glazed on the outside and inside, acts as a passive energy envelope. So the project itself also included the addition of new housing units on the roof or next to the building. So this way they paid the renovation cost. And for my opinion, I think the best thing they do is that the renovation was carried out in such a way that the residents could stay in their homes during the construction works. So now I would like to present you my imagine how to renovate residential neighborhood in South Konasilia at the Bežigrad district, which is one of the greenest part of Ljubljana. So we took a closer look at 5 buildings on Indliharjeva Street and their surroundings. The apartments do not have balconies or lodges, and ground floor apartment do not have atriums. So this is a model of these facades without balconies, and as an example, we prepared a model of facades element which would equip the respective buildings with various balcony models, and this would enable the residents to have a nicer and better quality stay within their own apartments. So we would think that the balconies are an important element of the facades composition, which gives the building its character. So this is a 3D visualization of these models of balconies. And open and green areas also play an important role in terms of leisure, representing common interests, connecting residents, and affecting their attitude towards the settlement. So the open space in the neighborhoods is also a place for various activities such as recreation, play, and socializing. And today, however, we are mostly talking about poorly maintained areas that reduce the overall quality of living. So take a look, a visualization of this neighborhood, South Konasilia on Indliharjeva Street. And for conclusion, I will only say that the project of renovating old residential neighborhoods should become a priority for both the state housing policy and the apartment owners. And it is high time for our society to actually do something in this area. Thank you. We don't hear you, Steiner. Sorry.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Petra. I think this is a very good example also of how design can play into a very multidisciplinary context. Urban renewal and rethinking is not only for designers, it's for a lot of different kinds of disciplines. But I think that the role of designers in particular is to facilitate the process of engaging stakeholders, and especially the people who will actually be using these environments on a day-to-day basis for many years in the future. So great work, very interesting, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Steiner.
And almost as a comment to Petra's presentation, one of the other good friends of faculty, who is just as myself lucky to be invited up to several times a year, is Piet van der Welle, who's a lecturer at Thomas More University of Applied Sciences in Mechelen. And his intervention will be, how will we live together? The naked architect versus the new prudery. And at least from what I could see, it also shows that these concerns really engage students.
Thank you, Steiner. Yes, exactly, the unprivate house, how will we live together? So, as the world's urban population skyrockets and cities become denser and denser, cities are facing the effects of low supply and high demand on single-family homes. And that causes even the smallest of houses to be unaffordable. On the other hand, of course, extended urban sprawl has become impossible. Extended urban sprawl, where every simple family home has its own yard, garage, and 2.5 bathrooms, is simply impossible. The world, the environment, needs a concrete stop. We simply can't afford more solidification of green areas around the cities. I suppose we all know the numbers by now. Half of humanity, 3.5 billion people, live in the city today, and 5 billion people are projected to live in cities by 2030. And according to the UN, as we all know, the world's population is expected to increase by 2 billion people for the next 30 years, while over 800 million people live in slums already today. And of course, it's easy to say that it's a political problem based on economical inequities, but that ain't gonna solve the problem. And I am ashamed to admit that I am part of the problem myself by basically being a bad teacher. Home ownership, the idea of claiming space, architectural design, overwhelming public buildings, single-family homes, husband and wife, plus 2 children, room for a pony, luxurious private interiors. All these so-called pictures of the ideal lifestyle are still projected and promoted through our design education, and it's completely obsolete. In fact, it's almost a crime against humanity. Hence, Hashim Sarki's theme of Venice Biennale 2020, How Will We Live Together, surely requires an urgent response. He's calling on architects and designers to imagine spaces in which we can generously live together. We need a new spatial contract. We have to redefine housing programs and spatial typologies in order to be able to live together. We need to pursue alternatives for spatial configurations and dwellings in the cities. Hence already new structures like co-housing and mixed-use housing, co-working, and flexible spaces. This will not only influence the urban fabric, but also will require a severe change in the social fabric that characterizes modern society by redefining the boundaries of privacy. Despite COVID-19, density is not a bad thing. In fact, it can be endlessly interesting and exciting, but it necessarily calls into question the essential issue of how to balance privacy with openness. Rethinking, researching by design, new boundaries between private dwelling and the semi-public urban fabric in order to be able to densify the city without compromising on, or even quite reverse, raising the quality of city life should be a major priority. While the risk of being exposed as we are due to social media, etc., seems ubiquitous and tends to force us to a new prudery, at the same time, the need of densification calls upon a new way of sustainable living in the unprivate house and the privatized urban fabric. Throughout history, we've lost the connection with ourselves. We can blame Freud for that. We lost connection with our body, the so-called disembodiment. We have lost corporeality and touch, our community, and real social interaction. But I still believe that deconstructing our private housing program, the private kitchen versus communal kitchen versus the public kitchen, or the private living room versus co-living spaces and co-housing, to the urban cabins of mini-living. This deconstruction or rethinking of the personal and private will be mandatory to solve the problem of rapid urbanization, but also will increase the viability, the quality, and sustainability of future city life. We might need to abandon our private bathrooms and return to the art of communal bathing, like, for example, here in the Japanese onsen culture. We should forget about our private gardens and start public guerrilla gardening. I believe the future lies in the unprivate house. In a highly disconnected world, even the smallest attempt at increasing interaction between citizens is of great importance. So I asked in a workshop earlier this year the students from the Facultät Arts Design to think about their privacy and future ways of living in the city. What functions from private housing can be translated into the public or semi-public fabric of the city? What functions that are now considered as totally private are we willing to relocate to the semi-public realm in the future? Secondly, the students were asked to implement and design these deprivatized residential functions in one of two specified locations in Ljubljana, taking into consideration and respecting the viability of the original venue. While we only had 3 days to execute this complex assignment, the results were more than amazing. Although at first the students were very reluctant to discuss upon what we should keep private, yet they proved to be future-proof designers, able to think outside the box and research by design new future ways of living together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pete. I think you have probably provoked some of us who might have a problem seeing ourselves taking our morning bath together with 100 other people, but at least there's a lot of food for
That's
thought.
the point. That's the point. Yes.
And lots to think about. So thank you so much, and also for encouraging the students to try to see some alternative images of their own futures. So thanks. We have now had a theoretical approach to design, and we have had some interesting sort of examples of how design is being practiced and experienced in both in terms of visual communication in urban spaces. But we also know, and we have become more and more aware of the fact that for design to really make a difference, it also has to be properly and professionally managed. And design management is one of the areas that Faculty of Design has given a lot of attention, which pleases me immensely. And we will now hear Siva Kumil and Professor Jordan Berginch, who have looked at design management in Slovenia and in other both European and non-European countries, measured by the so-called design staircase. So, Siva and Jordan, yours.
Hi, hello. My name is Jiva Kumal, and I'm alumni of Faculty of Design. I graduated in design management in May last year. I'm very excited to be here to present my master thesis, well, just a part of it, with the title of Analysis of Design Management Practices in Europe. So let us begin. Design management is one of the key business disciplines, which in today's saturated market represents a key advantage of a company that increases its competitiveness and business success. Technologically oriented innovative companies include in their strategy the function of design management as a company culture, where they exploit all the potential of design. Through design and methodologies, Design thinkers identify new market needs for which they develop innovative user-centric solutions. This article explores and describes the importance of the design management in the modern corporate export sector and the role it plays in the competitiveness, innovation, and business success of companies in detail. The aim of the qualitative research is to process some of the best examples of good practices from Slovenia and prominent European countries to identify similarities and differences and to find out where and how the situation in Slovenia could improve. Article provides an overview and guidelines for promoting the design of managerial culture and consequently for improving the competitiveness and successful operation of Slovenian companies. Research presents a comprehensive insight into the operation and management of design in innovative companies from different industry sectors. Adria Mobil is one of Europe's leading companies in recreational vehicle and mobile home markets. It is present on 30 markets globally. Infra Lighting is a global provider of architectural luminaries and smart lighting solutions, and as such, one of the most important players in the lighting market. It is present on 60 markets. English company Dyson is a global manufacturer of high-end home appliances. Its brand is present on more than 100 markets. Zalando, the company from Germany, has created internet platform where they sell fashion pieces from around 300 fashion brands. The platform is used on 17 European markets. Danish company Bang & Olufsen is luxury headphone and speaker manufacturer who release a number of top-end systems. It is present on 70 markets all over the world. Now we are going to present the key conclusions of the research. First one is about business environment. Denmark, England, and Germany have way more open and prospective business environment compared to still very traditional Slovenia. Those countries have way more defined design policies. Consequently, those European countries dare to risk more and are more innovative. They are aware of design as a process, not just as a final form of the product. The government of Great Britain, Denmark, and Germany are encouraging innovative companies because they know and value their success. Those countries have a wide net of supporting organizations, universities, and institutes. Slovenian business environment is still quite traditional. Slovenian government and companies are not focusing enough on design policies and innovations. Consequently, our companies are less innovative because they lack of courage to risk more. We also have some supporting institutes and organizations to promote design and design management. Now I will hand over to my mentor, Professor Dr. Bergins, to tell you some more conclusions.
Thank you very much, Živa. I just want to continue and prepare some and talk with you with some final remarks on this benchmarking comparison analysis between, let's say, corporate design management in Western Europe and strategy and style comparing to the Slovene one. Just in brief, you should know that generally we introduce a very general known model of design management, staircase model. And the third, and what is set on this slide, the fourth model represent introducing the culture on design management, corporate culture, which is the highest level of design management promotion within the company. And of course, going back to the traditional, what Živa already mentioned, traditional aspect of leadership of the company in Slovenia, we tackle or cope generally with pretty authoritative and a hierarchical system. So generally, when you ask the leaders of the company if they are ready to introduce the design management in their culture, they are somehow a little bit afraid of the risk that the design management is bring to the company. So in this way, majority of Slovene companies or corporation are still staying at the third level. What is mean that they are defining the design management as a function which is divided generally on R&D department, marketing department, who care for the let's say user-centric strategy. We know from the best practice, like in this paper was mentioned a few really great case studies, that first the company need to be oriented totally on the market and approach to the user with different type of research, and bring that ideas from the market through, let's say, design thinking method to R&D department, and offer to the market the proper, let's say, personalized product or technologies. So Živa, can we continue?
Yes.
Just maybe a few words about how complex is actually to introduce the design management culture into the company. First of all, the leadership of the company or owner of the company need to be aware and put this type of strategy into the basic documents like business plan, or it could be a yearly report, whatever. And finally, when they introduce this statement in the basic document of the company, they need to realize and they need to define the vision of the company, how the design and design thinking and design management is going together with their vision and their product in a long term. So they need to practice, and this is not enough if they just put on the paper. Of course, they need to make a project, a design project, and they start to introduce and train and educate all employees to going toward, to raise the level of awareness of design management. And of course, it takes a lot of time, a lot of resources, and they need to make a lot of tests on the market and coming back from the market with user experiences. And this is the right way how to introduce the system. Can we go on, Živa? And finally, it is a big challenge whenever you talk with the managers or leadership of the Slovene companies. They are generally open-minded and aware that design management is a very important challenge for the future, for them, for their products, for their technologies. But they are a little bit afraid, as I said, because this design management is bringing a lot of changes within the corporate culture, and they are afraid of risk that they are coming because they are not enough aware of the positive aspects and experiences from other companies in maybe even their collaborative partners or competitors on the market. So that's why more or less we see on these final slides a lot of principles which are popular for this design management. Especially they need to introduce a kind of interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary work, so every designer should know something more about the clients, the customers, and all of them they need to train with a lot of design thinking approaches when they plan the new products, new generation of new technologies. And finally, everything what is tackled with the design management should be oriented toward increase the level of innovative thinking and innovative products to the future. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Siva. That was very interesting. And the study, I guess, focuses a lot on design management maturity. And I guess for those of us who can sort of see a parallel in our own lives, maturity is good, but it's not always the most sort of open-minded approach. And somehow I would say that coming from Denmark, which is a design nation traditionally, we also tend to become a little complacent sometimes, and we perhaps think that we have resolved all the big issues. I think what is interesting in Slovenia is that you are still asking important questions. You're still working with how you want to interpret and benefit from these things. And I think that in Slovenia, design management has been recognized as a key design discipline, which is actually not the case in our part of Europe. So I think for many good reasons, the focus that you have on design management can very easily bring you very far in terms of becoming a design nation, but perhaps in a more modern and contemporary way than we have been in Denmark, which we have, after all, based a lot on the old masters and the classics and the icons. But very interesting work. Thank you so much for that, and thank you
for an invitation.
Pardon?
Thank you for the invitation.
Yes.
Thank you.
We are now having a little break. We're 5 minutes after schedule, so I would suggest that we reconvene at 11:15. That will give us 8 minutes now, just to check our mobile phones and do whatever else. So see you in a little while. Thank you. Welcome back to the Going Green Global Conference. Before the break, we ended on a note on the importance of design management. And design management is important in all aspects of design, but perhaps in particular when adding the complexity level of a sustainable design, of sustainability. Design management is really important, more than ever. After the break now, we will have some interventions, whereof 3 are actually focusing on sustainable design in a specific part of the design industry, fashion design. And one of the reasons why that is very interesting and very important is that fashion design has sort of represented some of the biggest challenges in terms of sustainability. But we also know that when the fashion industry resolves their problems with sustainability, then the rest of the industry and the design industry can take lots of that learning into their practice. The first intervention will be by Sala Orel, who will present a new textile art biennial for a new era, the Bien. So, Sala?
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. I will present Bien, the new biennial for a new era. Bien is a textile art and design biennial taking place for the first time in the spring and summer of 2021 in a Slovenian city of Kranj and in the online space. In 2020, we have organized a pilot project, Bien 2020, and almost all of the photos shown in the presentation that you will see are from the last year. We opened the last year exhibition on the 12th of June, so we were actively involved in the new reality and affected with the COVID-19 measures that our government had set to limit the outbreak of the virus. What is more, on the 4th of May, the government released the first part of the measures, and the weeks that followed were like a breath of fresh air. So we had exactly 1 month to adapt. As we are organizing an event that was born and brought up in the new circumstances, we in reality don't need to change or adapt that much. From the beginning, we know only the world faced with the threat of the virus. We are at the beginning and we are trying to transform these challenges into opportunities. In my given time, I will firstly explain the general concept of the biennial exhibition and secondly return to the challenges that need to be tackled in order to optimize the visitors, artists and curators' experiences. I'm a program director of a cultural center, Lyre House in Kranj, Lajreva hiša. We are a very interdisciplinary space with galleries, residences, workshops, music venues, a cafe, and a strong affiliation to public space. So we organize festivals and events also in the streets. We produce murals and so on. Bien is initiated by Karnika Institute, where I'm employed, and jointly organized by Faculty of Natural Sciences and Engineering from University of Ljubljana and Faculty of Design are today's hosts. Bien is emerging in the city where the textile industry played a crucial role in the forming of the urban landscape in the 20th century. We are expanding the exhibitions also in other cities in the region, since the Gorenjska region was one of the most important regions for the textile industry in the former Yugoslavia. For the following years, we also plan to collaborate with Nova Gorica, the city that won the title European Capital of Culture 2025. Also, we have established a network involving Croatian and Serbian partners, as well as some partners from Greece, Finland, even Great Britain. Bien is, or at least wants to be simple. Sustainability, heritage, and preservation are thought of by Bien artists and curators through textiles and also other materials. They come together in projects projects that raise awareness of the circular economy, cultural heritage, and environmental issues. Bien promotes interdisciplinary artistic collaborations between projects and residencies. It presents work by international and domestic artists with special emphasis on the best works of contemporary student production, and understands that the future of art is also in the public and digital space. The interpretations of textile heritage significantly marked in the last year's pilot Bien 2020, and patterns driven from the urban texture and the city processes forecasted some new ideas for the Bien 2021. Bien is on the way to highlight social and urban changes, to connect them, and to make sure that the materialism of the past era becomes a reflection on the materials of the new era. Faced with the new reality after the outbreak of COVID-19, we are forming new ways of making the experience for visitors and the involved artists as favorable as possible, with the pandemic, or hopefully post-pandemic, future in mind. I will now stress 4 ideas or concepts we believe are essential for a successful and sustainable event that is attracting local as well as international audiences. So the first thing is getting inspired from the local heritage, so staying local in order to attract also local audiences. In a way, culture and art gained some new prospects in the crisis. Museum and galleries, as you know, were one of the first spaces to be open after the lockdown, and culture and art activities are now more respected in a way. People are more aware of them, so we don't want to miss this momentum. The second thing is, of course, online presentation, documentation of all the art and design pieces. We must put a lot of effort, more than ever, to video presentations, streaming, premieres, and also feature video art and textile. With it, we can open the gates to the biennial easily to the foreign artists. And then there's, of course, social media, the involvement of the public, recording all the processes, artistic processes, so people believe they are a part of some story happening. And of course, we should not forget traditional media, collaborations with partners. So there's a lot of work to be done in establishing promotional campaigns, but this must really be taken into account. Then there are collaborations as interdisciplinary as possible to merge different audiences and also connect different artists. So we have in the past, and we will also this year, connect textiles and ceramics, sound and textiles, electronics. You can see on the photo, it's the e-textile MP3 player we were having like a workshop. So another important sort of practical thing is that business is allowed even in the lockdown, so the collaborative residencies can be organized. This is what we are doing also this year. And we're focused on local artists and students, and also artists from the region, especially from the Balkans. And then the fourth thing, of course, is the concept of art in public space. We have to move events and exhibitions outdoors. We have to organize also the outdoor guided tours, for example, and to mix the gallery art and public space art, street art. So like making a city an outdoor gallery. We have done this in the past. On the photo, you can see a collage mural made of textile pieces we've put in the center of the city of Kran. So this is about these 4 points. As I said, Bien is on from 26th of May until the 14th of August. Be sure to check it out if you're around, and on the website written on the screen. We also have the first call open, and there's another coming. So I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Sala. You mentioned, among other things, local heritage and sustainability as sort of pillars of BN. I think your presentation also reminded me of something which is very important and which we seem to sometimes forget in conference settings like this, and that is the importance of being visually stimulated by design. And I think your presentation really sort of mended that. So thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you.
We now go to another speaker who will also focus on textile or fashion, and will talk about the paradigm of regeneration, which is sustainable design beyond sustainability. Diana Rosanna, please.
Good morning all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to meet you all. And I thank you, Nada Rosmanes Matizic, to have invited me in this event that give me the opportunity to have this short speech and to speak about circular economy, sustainability, and my idea of regenerative culture, my work. So I will shortly present myself. I'm a fashion designer. I've been working a long time in the fashion industry in Italy. So I had the luck of working with Vivienne Westwood a long time. Besides her, in the famous 90s, we had a really wonderful time doing a lot of collection, women's, men collection. Of course, this was another time, and probably the time where product and style were still in balance. But with the beginning of the 2000s, everything started to change. Especially, I think, because mass market and financial logics get into the system, and this make a lot of difference. So that was the time I start to make a lot of questions to myself, and so I decided to really listen to me, to this voice inside me, and so I make a big change. And this turn was made essentially of a course of research. And my research was try to think and to know better about the meanings of certain words that were already on the fashion market, like sustainability, like sustainable product, certified product, or recycled product. Of course, already at the time they were already into our system, and then there were already people start to speak and to make some project around this new kind of idea of product. But to me, I was a little bit, the meaning of sustainability was immediately a little bit different, because I thought that to be effective for a changement, because when we really need to go for a change, because we have, as humanity, as a human living, we have problem. We are facing problem, environmental problem, and very, very big problem. So my need was to really go forward and try to find something, a solution that was really effective to change the system. So I did a focus on the waste, because waste is really the biggest product we have. We have created thanks to the capitalism, thanks to our linear economy. So so we have a resource in the end, because this waste is even of good quality. We have to only to realize this resource as a resource, this waste as a resource, and it could be for us really the opportunity to start the circular economy. I did the last 10 years, I did my work to get experience how to create a system that could be really circular, of course, dedicated to the fashion system. So I did a lot of experience, and I decided in the end, at the end of the 2017, to write this protocol. The Waste Couture protocol is the list of the specification that really help all the supply chain to change the system. And the method, it goes from this application of specification in the style office to production, and from distribution to communication, to achieve the goal of a product that we can undername 100% zero waste. And we can do that because really is important, in my opinion, to adopt altogether the same system. So that's why I did this method, because we have seen, like in the last 10 years, we have done a lot of beautiful products, certified products, sustainable product. Even we have, there are different companies as well that have got their for private initiative, circular system initiative by themselves. But I think that if we don't share all the same method, we can't achieve our goal, that should be really to create a new system, the circular system, that go to get the place of the old one, the linear system in an economy system. So that's why I did the protocol, because it can be really the opportunity to work together, to be collaborative, and to share all together the same method. Because only if we work all together, only if we share the method, we can really reach a result. And when I speak about result, I speak about the data, about not only the transparency of the supply chain, but even to get a data, to get a result that can be tangible, can be shareable, in order to see how much we can really get this radical decrease of emission, because this should be our goal. So if we do a lot of action, but in the end we never know what we have achieved, what we have to still improve our action, how we have to still improve our action, of course, maybe we don't get so good point of the situation, and we don't get the result we need to change the system. That's why so I did the protocol, and I hope to share the protocol. Now we are starting to do this work with the Italian companies. We are promoting this work with all the Italian companies, and with the help of important partners like Costanzo Associati and the Rome University La Sapienza. We are transforming the protocol in a software. So with the help of the artificial intelligence, we will introduce this software in the companies to help them to work together, to operate on the same system, and to share the data, because so they can work without waste, and then we can probably without waste time anymore getting the result. So I'm here to invite even you and everyone is listening to us now to share to have a collaboration with us. I'm open to any collaboration, because it's very important to work together in this moment. And I think this is an opportunity. This changement is an extraordinary moment. We have to go forward to change the system, and change the system is not meaning only to add a new product in a market which is already full of product, but means make the right action to change the system. So thank you very much for the invitation, and I invite you to visit my site, wastemark.it or venetwaste.com, and take contact with me for any together collaboration and share any action in this direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to Diana. Rosanna, thank you for bringing up the concept of circular economy, circular design, what you call a circular system, because this is key both to the new Bauhaus movement. It's key to achieving the Green Deal in Europe. And I think you also pointed to very sort of key components of that. One of them is to have a protocol so that, as you say, we do the same thing for it to work. And the other thing is that we also have measurable systems so that we can actually see if we improve, if we go in the right direction. So thank you for reminding us of these very interesting aspects of sustainable or beyond sustainable design. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We now go to back to Ljubljana, back to Faculty of Design, and two of the very strong forces in-house, Inge Kaplan and Barbara Dovicar, who will point to another important factor in becoming sustainable and in furthering the design movement, and that is working cross borders. So please, Inge and Barbara, about GIDE.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Inge, and I'm a lecturer at the Faculty of Design. And my colleague Barbara Dovicar and me did the project with a network company, international company, not the company, but the network of cooperation of the Faculty of Design students, international project GIDE 2020. We gathered the students, 64 students were spread in 8 groups, and we did the project, as you can see here. But I will explain you what the GIDE means. GIDE are the letters for the Group for International Design Education, is a network of 8 art design education institutions and faculties established in 2003. A lot of you already knew that these are the members: Thomas More Mechelen University from Belgium, Magdeburg University of Applied Science from Germany, Social School of Design Politecnico di Milano, SUPSI University of Applied Sciences, Duncan of Jordan Store College University Dundee from Scotland, Madeira Art and Design Department University, Portugal, and of course in a few years ago there was as well with us University from China, Wuxi. Well, I did forgot to introduce my colleague, my student, our student, Vita. She's with me, and she's as well the author, one of the authors and co-workers in these groups that were working on this international project, GIDE. Of course, the member of this faculties is as well Faculty of Design as associate member of University of Primorska, Slovenia. GIDE's main objectives are to promote the exchange of design approaches, best practice, and widen the intercultural experiences across the European Union and beyond. GIDE promotes the exchange of design education with an ethical dimension, exploring multidisciplinary working practice and competences designed to raise awareness in students of the future of their professional networks. Though emerging from interior design, higher education GIDE network is becoming increasingly interdisciplinary with collaboration between interior design, industrial interaction design, art design, practice, visual communications, and of course with the services. Such projects allow students to experiment and think creatively and critically about a particular topic and to integrate knowledge from 2 or more fields of study in order to create a new experience. Every year, the GIDE group organizes creative workshops. Here on the picture, you can see the students that we were working together in GIDE Dundee 2019 workshop. And the international workshop, we gather students and lecturers from each of 8 schools in the network. Approximately 100 participants are invited. The JIT experience brings learners, academics, researchers, and local cultural organizations together in different countries to explore ethical issues through creative design thinking within a host city and a partner school. They investigate a common project theme in the International Workshop Week. The Faculty of Design follows modern trends in higher education, international interdisciplinary projects. So you can see this is the documentation that we are really together and participating. This was in Dundee 2019. I was with one of the group that were there together. The themes are, every year the theme is different, and here in Dundee we have, the theme was, the general for all the schools was the mobile museum, how to reach all around the Scotland. The theme was of course based in Dundee in Scotland, how to reach all the inhabitants of Scotland to see their perfect artworks or whatever in Albert Museum that is in Dundee or wherever. And these were the topic that we've done in Dundee. The JIT, yes, okay. They investigate a common project theme in the international workshop, as I told before. The Faculty of Design follows. Last year, JIT group skipped the workshop in a host country. That should be us. We should be the host faculty, the host country, Slovenia, Faculty of Design. But because of the virus, everything was skipped. We hope that next year we will be alive together. Nevertheless, students in all JIT academies continued with the project at their schools. The chosen topic was freedom. In the autumn semester in our faculty, as I told before, together with Barbara Dovecher, professor, my colleague. Oh yeah, she's with us. Hello, Barbara. 64 students undertook an analysis of the selected interdisciplinary topic, freedom. Groups were formed from students of visual communications and the Department of Interior Design. The goal and the purpose of interdisciplinary student collaboration is to learn and consequently be able to integrate concepts and approaches from two or more fields of study in order to create new knowledge and new solutions. In the working group, students designed, analyzed, structured and creatively modeled concepts into tasks with a leading creative idea, freedom in modular units. The conceptual design was based on the multi-purpose use of a modular unit, prefabricated, according to the concept of sustainability and innovation, with a possible different micro-location and intent for different age of groups. Creative thinking allows students several different, at the same time, current solutions. It's based on a rich imagination, freedom, curiosity, and of course, enthusiasm. Through critical reflection, the students upgraded their creative ideas. With such project, the Faculty of Design wants to educate and raise creative individuals who know how to connect and cooperate, whose creative work will have a positive impact on society and design. And here, in meantime, Vita was so kind to show you their video clips done during this project, and these were the results. And here now I'm going to present you the 8 titles of each group that were done by our students. And the first project title is Cube, Students Campus. Group number 2, in its project, focused on various options of improving their accommodation in students' residences. They followed their initial decision that they wanted to design a simple and functional ambience that offered the residents more freedom than ordinary students' campus. Here are you can see on these posters, each group did the poster, and of course, as you've seen the video clip. Group number 3 titled their project Free BAP, virtual freedom. The students in this group asked themselves, what is actually freedom, and do we really live in a free world? Based on answers, they designed modular units that would be set up all over Slovenia in the hearts of larger cities. They are hearts of larger cities. They are reminiscent of bubbles, hence their white of the name free plus bubble is free BAP, as you can see here on the poster. Another group named their project Freedom, Self-Sufficient Sustainable Living. Within the framework of the project called Freedom, students designed a concept of modular living spaces that offer users complete freedom. The modular units can be transported anywhere and are perfectly adapted to user needs. They are made entirely of organic recycled materials, what was one of the main targets. Group number 5 did their project titled Float Futuristic Holiday. The students of the 5th group designed the Float mobile unit in the shape of a ball, which resembles a bubble and is intended for everyone who wants a unique futuristic vacation, wherever you want to install it. Maybe in the sand or maybe among the trees. Group Cloudy did as well create the Center Cloudy intended for workshops, therapy, and socializing. The special bubbles, they are installed wherever you want to put them. Group number 7 titled their project Free Tree, yes. Students in the 7th group created modular units designed for relaxation. The planned location of the sustainable designed facilities connected to the existing forest modular units are actually located among the trees. The house in the trees, we as well call it. Another group named their project Nature by Touch, the changing ambience interior. When designing the modular unit Nature by Touch, the students imagined an interior whose ambience has the ability to be changed according to the user's wishes. Their inspiration for this project was a desire to create the holistic experience of an environment that is physically distant. And now, not the last, one of the group title is Areas Luxury Idyll. My colleague, our student, Vita Potočnik, will as well explain and tell us about their project.
Thank you from my side as well. My name is Vita Potočnik, and I'm one of the 7 students that worked on the project that I'm going to present. There were 3 students of visual communications and 4 students of interior design. And together we came up with a concept unit with the title A.L.I.C.E, where we explored the problematic of current events with restriction of movement, as well as how to boost local tourism, and came up with a futuristic solution for the unit. Presented on the screen are brand's elements, sketches, renders, and mockups for the app. So A.L.I.C.E is a mobile unit which allows its users to discover and enjoy beautiful cities in Slovenia on a luxury vacation in a private, futuristic-looking environment. The mobile home embodies the concept of perfection and infinity through its cylindrical form and glass elements. The unit is ideal for relaxing during a pandemic, as you are isolated from others in your confidential and clean ambient. With this compact mobile house, you can safely travel between 8 different drop-off points, each located in a different city in Slovenia. With A.L.I.C.E, you can forget about the stress of packing and driving oneself from site to site, as the accommodation unit will take you to the desired place with the help of a helicopter. The glass walls allow users to always be in touch with nature and transform the commute into a stunning panoramic experience of Slovenia's landscape. If at any point you are not sure where you want to travel next or what activities you want to do, you can get inspired with the help of the A.L.I.C.E app, which also serves as a tourist guide. And that was our contribution to JIT 2020. And with that, I give my word back to you, Professor.
Thank you very much, Vita. It was really one of the best projects. We decided with my colleague, Professor Barbara Dovacher. And for the conclusion, I'm just going to tell you the project JIT 2020 will end in March 21 with an interactive exhibition, all students, all solutions, of all 6 faculties participating in the JIT Freedom Project. But JIT 2021 is the first JIT experience that will take part on the online workshop. We won't skip, we will work together, all 120 participants. We will gather in March, and the topic will be learning from nature. Was chosen by all the teachers of the 7 schools, and it will hopefully be the common thread for the future year's works. So thank you for your attention. Thank you, Vita, and my great thanks for Barbara. We did, I think, quite good projects all together.
Thank you so much to all 3 of you, and congratulations, Inge, with the Going Green Global Award yesterday for the GEEK program. I think you said something very important, that one of the missions of this program was to raise critical individuals. And I think that is the very basic fundament for becoming good designers, is that you start asking critical questions and actually relating critical to everything you see and everything that can be done better. So thank you so much for that. And we are hastily going to the very last intervention today, which is with Professor Tanya Devitak. And she will be talking about recycling in fashion. So please, Tanya.
Good afternoon, all. I would like today to present a project, Recycle in Fashion. And as we today have all agreed upon, the environment and our societies are changing. And with that, the business models, visions, and strategies are also changing. And fashion is one of them and among them. The words that are driving our thinking today and are valid in society are considered to be the fastest, the greatest, the largest. And instead of them, we have to replace them with durability, inclusiveness, and with fairness. And with that in mind, the partners of the project, Recycle in Fashion, are the head of the project, Come una Marea from Italy, the Guzur from Egypt, and the Center for Design Research from Slovenia. And the whole project is supported by A.L.I.C.E Foundation. In this regard, the project reflects the cultural richness of the Euro-Mediterranean region, with the emphasis on sustainability in the fashion sector. The aim of the project is to promote the exchange of knowledge among the Euro-Mediterranean partners through the selection of different recycling, upcycling, or any other sustainable methods, practices, or models that are reflecting in fashion. It includes the research on fashion sector in 3 partner countries regarding the sustainable solutions and practices, as well as implementation of local and regional craft techniques in fashion, of course, in fashion design process. Because fashion has to be challenged, as it was today already heard, by the need to make and consume less. And in that sense, of course, as it was also mentioned today, we are part of the problem, but also we are part of the solution. Users have to play a key role in this process. In partner countries, fashion is very differently developed and thus represents an industry with different economic power. According to the Statista.com, in 2021, Italy is estimated to be ranked 15th worldwide in terms of revenue in fashion industry, while Egypt is 45th. And of course, Slovenia is ranking 76th globally. According to the different starting points of fashion development in the partner countries, the general criteria of the research methodology were first defined, because we have to unify them in a way that it will be applicable in all three environments. Methodologies used were based on qualitative and quantitative analysis of the gathered data, collected through reviews of official statistics, data archives, interviews, and questionnaires. And in the research, the descriptive method was used, as well as numerical evaluation, where, of course, the data allows it. The first step included the mapping of the fashion practices, which, of course, includes a definition of fashion practice itself, in scale, in infrastructure, and of course in specialization, because in fashion matters if you are producing sportswear, menswear, women's wear, accessory, luxury, and so on. And the legal forms of businesses, like independent designers, private sectors, NGOs, cooperatives, initiatives, and of course investors. And in that sense, in Slovenia, 45 brands were detected, and I have to say also regarding today's comments that many of them, not to say most of them, but many of them were young fashion designers acting in this scale. But of course, we have to also add to that most of them micro-scale businesses and more or less one-man band units, not bands, but one-man units. The legal forms of businesses, of course, are upon that very different, from self-employed workers in culture, types of corporate structure, or sole proprietors. They are also geographically dispersed throughout the entire territory of Slovenia. Given the size of the fashion industry in Italy and its reputation in the world, mapping in Italy included a review of brands that implement some aspects of sustainable development. The review showed that various sustainable fashion initiatives involving different economic forms of action have already been developed in Italy. In Egypt, there are several non-governmental initiatives in the field of sustainable fashion, because we have to understand that the only way to do changes in fashion does not include just some sort of forms of the economic forms that include proprietors and include also the corporate structures. A comparison of all three surveys shows that textile production in Slovenia is poorly developed and even less sustainably innovative, unlike Italy and Egypt, where they have larger production units, some of them with distinctly sustainable solutions. The mapped business entities were then analyzed from the point of view of waste reduction, which is the clue, both in the production process and after the users discard it. The activities we considered in the analysis included zero waste or less waste tailoring, recycling, and upcycling. The focus on the design and production of products that adapt and improve over the years, and consumer participation in the design process using social media as a very important tool to educate about sustainable fashion, as of course also to share brand stories, and the development of fashion communities by fashion brands themselves, which is also very crucial. The review also includes services with product lifelong repairs as one of the options to slow the fashion consumption. Due to the micro-scale size of the brands in Slovenia, most of them have a service with product lifelong repairs as well as consumer participation. And that we have to work on in Slovenia. In this context, of course, Slovenia has an advantage due to the size of the businesses and should promote it as an important activity in the sustainable fashion process, and also as a brand management. Slovenian fashion brands are less successful in including zero waste or less waste design. In Egypt, the reduction, the integration of recycling or upcycling strategies is more widespread, while in Italy, given the status of Italian fashion in society and its size, the share of any form of reuse or lifelong repairs is lower. In reducing the impact of the fashion industry on the environment, it is important to reduce energy and water consumption. Thus, in the further analysis of the selected mapped fashion brands, the data on technological or production innovations that require minimal energy and water consumption, like clothes that require minimal cleaning, technical coatings to reduce washing, and also informative clothing labeling, and also as well as localization and the use of natural energy system were collected. In addition, data on the local and or regional supply and production chain were reviewed. Technological or production innovations, which are key in reducing resources, are poorly represented in Slovenian fashion brands. If we compare the data with Egypt and Italy, they differ. Most technological innovations can be detected, of course, in Italy due to its size and development, while Egypt is more comparable to Slovenia in this area. In the need to reduce the fashion loop size, we reviewed the situation regarding the existence of ideas that contribute to less production and, importantly, dematerialization. This strategy introduces service concepts such as leasing, sharing, and repair services that support the existing products. It also promotes multi-purpose products. In this context, a transparent supply and production chain is extremely important, as it's the formation of local, regional, and we have to emphasize online communities with these chains. It is necessary also to emphasize the importance of the use of digital media tool of communication, which enable all the interested users traceability, important one, and transparency, as this was already mentioned today, of the entire design and production process. In the context of sustainable fashion, we consider this as one of the key factors, as it also enables the democratization of information within fashion industry, which is also very relevant and key element in the furthering of development of the fashion business in the sustainable direction. With these communication channels, fashion can become better connected with its users, while at the same time using them as a tool to spread positive activist messages about the importance of sustainable fashion, which is again a very important role of fashion, not just producing new products, but also transferring important messages and spread those messages worldwide. Sustainable fashion design must respect the cultural and historical specifics of individual geographic areas. Therefore, we include in the analysis inclusiveness of craft techniques into fashion design as one of the core activities within sustainable and durable fashion, with respect to cultural heritage of each included partner in the project. To summarize, in the field of fashion in the countries of the Euro-Mediterranean area, the results of the research showed some similarities, but again, differences, and also the possibilities, which is much more important, of regional cooperation in the context of the development of sustainable fashion. The difference is in the size range that we cannot ignore. And of course, diversity of fashion development between individual areas. Italy is undoubtedly a fashion superpower compared to Egypt and Slovenia, not only in economic terms, but also in meaning and symbolism. However, in understanding fashion as an expression of the identity, this should not be an obstacle of the development of the fashion design principles, sustainable fashion design principles. The possibility of developing regional supply chains is one of the possibilities of mutual or bilateral cooperation. Mutual cooperation on design processes would lead to shorter supply chains, smaller stocks, and the Euro-Mediterranean region development, and the possibility of further development of joint projects in empowering fashion communities within a view to the long-term development of our aim circular economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Very interesting project, and it's also good to see that even a country like Egypt, that there is a fertile ground for working with this kind of issues. And I think you said something profound and which is so true, that the fashion industry has been part of the problem, but it certainly also can be part of the solution. And I would like to raise that comment up on a higher level, saying that perhaps one of the biggest challenges and one of the most important tasks for design and designers is to show that we are all part of the problem, but we can all be part of the solution. So thank you so much. That was the last speaker of the Going Green Global A.L.I.C.E 2021 conference. I think it has been an extremely interesting, very intense and very powerful tour of what is happening in the design community, taking its departure in Slovenia, in Ljubljana, or in Trzin, where faculty is, and I think it also shows that the Faculty of Design is a powerhouse of design thinking, of design concern, of design development, and I'm proud to be a friend of the house and to be part of this project. And I hope that you all had some inspiration to take with you to your next missions. I will say thank you for now, and have a good day. And there is a program on both tomorrow and on Friday, so stay tuned to Faculty of Design and Going Green Global. Thank you.